Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras, here with ILTV's morning briefing. Explosive developments are in Syria just now. An Iranian base in Syria known as the T4 has just been hit with deadly airstrikes, killing 14 people. Iranian nationals have been confirmed among the dead, and American forces were initially blamed for the attack, but in a shocking twist, Russian military now says Israeli jets conducted the airstrikes. Russia's defense ministry says that the two F-15 jets belonging to Israel's Air Force conducted the attack from Lebanese airspace, believed to be a common Israeli tactic. At this time, it's believed that Syrian air defenses shot down 5 of the 8 missiles fired at the base, and that the 3 remaining missiles successfully made impact along the western part of the base. This T-4 base is the same one Israel is believed to have attacked in the past, most recently this past February, in response to an Iranian drone that breached Israeli airspace. Sources initially pinned the attack on American forces, most likely because President Trump just yesterday threatened a big price to pay for Syria's deadly use of chemical weapons against its own civilians. Despite this threat, however, the Pentagon immediately refuted claims that U.S. troops were behind the airstrike. Syria's regime has since backed Russia's claim that Israel is indeed responsible, and the Israeli army as policy does not comment on any alleged military matters such as these. It's the middle of the second week out of Hamas's planned 6-week-long protests along the Gaza border with Israel, and while the number of Palestinian protesters has died down a bit, there doesn't seem to be any sign of it ending. With the death toll rising to at least 27 and the injured in thousands, the International Criminal Court is now warning that the actions on both sides of the fence could amount to war crimes. According to ICC Chief Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda, quote, "Violence against civilians in a situation such as the one prevailing in Gaza could constitute crimes under the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, as could the use of civilian presence for the purpose of shielding military activities," end quote. Israel's foreign ministry declined to comment, but it is worth noting that the IDF fully investigates nearly all accusations of war crimes. Further, Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman rejects the ICC's calls for investigation, even calling into question the ICC's jurisdiction over Israel at all. Israel has never signed on to the ICC's Rome Statute, which Bensouda claims Israel has violated. But the ICC says they do have jurisdiction since they've signed with the Palestinians, and the IDF regularly acts in Gaza and the West Bank. To avoid the ICC, the IDF has just appointed Brigadier General Moti Baruch to thoroughly investigate the deaths of Palestinians along the border since the March of Return began. According to the complementarity principle, the ICC cannot intervene or probe for war crimes if the country in question has already legitimately investigated the issue on its own. That being said, most Israeli officials are in agreement that the use of force against the Gaza masses has been justified, as the rioters are attempting to breach Israeli territory en masse. Nearly 30,000 Gaza residents have taken part in the protests. Israeli Defense Forces confirmed that the army has just attacked a Hamas military site in the Gaza Strip. The attack is a response to an incident along the Gaza border yesterday, in which Hamas apparently attempted to breach or infiltrate the security fence using an improvised explosive device. At the time of the incident yesterday, the IDF confirmed 3 suspects from Gaza breaching the fence. Army tanks responded to the infiltration by firing artillery, prompting the suspects to apparently retreat back into the strip. The situation, however, warranted further investigation, at which time security forces realized that the fence was, in fact, targeted with an IED. The Army considers any threats to the security barrier an open threat to Israel's sovereignty and has demonstrated that it will act with appropriate measures accordingly. This comes after the second weekend of the Hamas-orchestrated March of Return protest. Israel says the demonstrations, however, are merely a smokescreen for Hamas terror attacks against the Jewish state. Indeed, the clashes between tens of thousands of Palestinian protesters and Israeli troops have been some of the bloodiest in quite some time. At this time, 27 Palestinians have been reported killed in these clashes. These numbers are the source of heated international debate, however, considering that among the dead are confirmed gunners in Hamas's militia, as well as one Palestinian journalist.